Hello friends, this is Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal. Today we are going to interview Noa Gruman, the singer, and I will say the mastermind from Scardust. In the past year 2020, I have the opportunity to interview a very interesting set of musicians, but now I'm going to have the opportunity to interview one of the most talented women I have ever met, that is Noa Gruman for Scardust. Let's go, Noa. Let's see the interview.
Hey Tony and the Made in Metal watchers. This is Noa Gruman from Scardust.
I discovered you, Noa, when I read the credits in the new Ayreon CD, Transitus. How did you start to work with him? And tell me, how is working with Arjen Anthony Lucassen? Are you happy with the results?
I'm super happy with the results. I think it sounds really amazing. And obviously I'm super proud and honored to be a part of this project and to have worked with a legend like Arjen Lucassen. I think it was a few years back that I contacted him. I told him about my choir Hellscore, and it clicked with him, and I think it went perfectly with the concept of this album. So this is how we ended up working together. The process was very smooth, was very easy to work with him. We had good chemistry, and I think everybody's really proud and happy with the way it turned out.
Scardust is a band that can be defined with a lot of adjectives, but commercial is not one of them. Do you think your music is difficult to be understood?
The short answer is yes. It's definitely complex, proggy. You have a lot of time changes, key changes, different parts to the song. Not everybody can relate. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But at the same time, we combine elements of pop music. We have these catchy choruses, for example, and a Scardust song can get stuck in your head. I mean, people are constantly telling me that a Scardust song got stuck in their head because the chorus is so catchy. So I would say it's a combination of very catchy music, very poppy music, with complex, progressive kind of music. So definitely not everybody's taste, but I think once you develop a taste for it, you can really love it. So if you haven't heard us yet, why won't you just give it a chance and see if it can grow on you?
I think yes, that is a catchy music, because I have the song gone deep in my mind, and from time to time I remember the verse. So something that I like it a lot is that all the members are young musicians and very talented. Who got the idea of Scardust? I think it's extremely difficult to find these spectacular musicians. How you did it?
Forming Scardust was an idea that I had with my old friend Orr Didi, who is also writing and composing the Scardust music with me. We've been friends for years, and we've been working together for years on several projects like theater music and some here and there occasional, pop project, jazz projects, small things. And we knew we wanted to work together on a bigger project that will catch, all of our musical influences and tastes. And progressive metal is just the perfect thing to do that. So this is how we came up with starting a progressive metal project. And you know what? We just auditioned for musicians, and this is how we found Yoav, the drummer, Yanai, the bass player, and later on Yadin, the guitar player. Itai, the keyboard player, is the newest member of the band. He's also the youngest member of the band. He actually joined the band after we released our previous album, Sands of Time, and he was only 16 years old. Yeah.
I read that you wrote Strangers with Orr Didi. Who is Orr and why isn't he in the band?
So, as I said in the previous question, Orr is a dear friend of mine and he is a member of the band. He's just not playing live with us. It's decisions that he had to make and he didn't make it easily. Orr has limited vision, so it's really hard for him to, you know, find himself, find his instruments when he's in a situation which is dark, crowded, you know, like a concert, like a festival. So these things that for people with perfect vision are, you know, we take it for granted. For him, it's way more challenging. So he decided to step back and to stay in the composing and writing team with me and let other musicians play the instruments on stage. Although I must say he is a brilliant bass player, guitar player and pianist, and he also even sings and plays the drums. So Orr Didi is really amazing.
Let me confess you that every CD I receive from Israel shows me extraordinary bands like Tomorrow's Rain, Aralu, Desert, Obsidian Thigh, Tillian, and a long list of bands. Is the Israeli scene as glittering as the band mentioned? Is there any I miss? Please tell me.
All the bands that you mentioned are, first of all, amazing bands and also amazing people, and they all happen to be our friends. I am personally a fan of all those bands, and obviously you have Orphanland, which is the biggest metal band in Israel nowadays. Occasionally I also sing with them live, and my choir Hellscore also sings with them in concerts and also in the studio. So yeah, apart from that, we have Walkways, which are an amazing alternative metal band. Subterranean Masquerade, yeah, Subterranean Masquerade, you have to check them out. They're an amazing progressive metal band.
How could I forget Orphanland, the first Israeli band I had met? Wow, yes, it's an impressive band. Going to Stranger, the field track shows me the Hellscore Choir at his best. A mix between gospel, classical, and cabaret. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm sure I'm wrong. How it was possible to join the choir? I read that you created the choir. If this is correct, what were the parameters to admit the musicians?
I was always into choir music myself. I always used to sing in choirs, and you know, I was a member of several vocal ensembles and several choirs over the years. So around the recordings of Sands of Time, our previous album, the album was out 3 years ago, but we actually started the recordings about 4 years ago. I decided to gather all of my vocal students alongside with some friends and family who are great singers themselves, and we assembled this choir especially for Sands of Time, for this album. And after we were done with the recordings, which went really smoothly and were really fun for everyone, you know, I just stepped aside and saw that, oh my god, I have this group of amazing people who are amazing singers and are also all into metal. So this is when I decided to combine those two worlds, the choir world, which I knew very, you know, it was very close to my heart all those years, and combined it with the metal world into this one project that is called Hellscore. So I gave it a name and I made it official, and it started with only like 10 or 12 people in my living room, and now we're over 40 people. We have our regular repertoire, which is metal a cappella songs. We sing, you know, things like Slipknot, Nightwish, Judas Priest, System of a Down, Linkin Park, like all genres of metal. We sing them a cappella. And apart from that, we also sing for metal bands like Scardust, obviously, but also, as I mentioned before, Orphanland, and we also did the recent Amorphous album, the recent Ayreon album, and more artists that I can't reveal right now, but you will find out soon. Every 6 months I do auditions for new singers, so everybody can come to an audition and try to join the choir. And I love my choir. It's the best thing ever.
The concept behind Strangers is very curious. I think that a lot of people ask you about this, but I would like to know who came with the idea to join the different tracks and why.
It was Orr and myself. Before we start writing, we make sure to discuss everything and to be really sure about the concept for the album, because the concept will dictate the music and the lyrics. So, you know, the concept of Estrangement is very close to our hearts, now more than ever, but we actually wrote it before the pandemic. It's kind of ironic that the pandemic made it even stronger. So yeah, it was the both of us, and the way we did that is that we wrote the songs in pairs. So each pair is talking about a different aspect of estrangement, and then you have, for example, things like Concrete Cages and Huts that are a pair of songs. And Concrete Cages is talking about moving from the simple life into the city life. And then Huts is talking about missing the simple life. We wrote them together, we actually also recorded them together, and then we separated them in the mastering phase.
I understand the idea as being in solitude, different, weird, but not sad. The feeling that any person feels, looks around and see that it's different from the mass, from the cattle. I know that the musician write and play the music, but the listener sometimes understands something very different. How do you understand the concept behind the music in a stranger?
Yeah, we are looking at different aspects of estrangement, and I think, like you said, every person can tell their own story within those small stories that we tell in Strangers. So we have a pair of songs that talks about the addiction world and the reality world, and, you know, sinking into a kind of addiction as opposed to being connected to the here and now. So that's Tantabus to an addicted, and every person can take that in a different way. I mean, there are so many kinds of addictions. You have Stranger and Gone that are also a pair of songs which are being left or being the one who left. This way you have different stories of different kinds of estrangements, and they are all connected. They can all be connected as one storyline, or you can separate them and listen to them individually and have your own small stories and interpretations.
Noa, every time I listen a Stranger, the CD lies me more. I think there is a song that condenses the essence of the band, that is Concrete Cage, the song when Patty Gordy is invited. Please tell me more about the song and about how did you meet Patty Gordy?
Patty contacted me about 2 years ago, and she asked for some vocal advice. Actually, she really liked our previous album, Stands of Time, and she sent me a sample of her singing one of the songs, Dials. And you know, I gave her some vocal advice, and we really bonded over it, and we became good friends, like more than good friends. We became like family. And a few months later we met in Berlin, and I think this is when we decided that we will definitely have her in our next album. So you have the whole story, if you like, on our YouTube channel, on Scardust YouTube channel. We have a nice video in which we chat and we tell the whole story, so check it out if you'd like. And the song Concrete Cages, like I said previously, it's about the realization that in order to be written in history's pages, you need to kind of move into the city. Although naturally we don't belong into, like we say, concrete cages, but we put ourselves there. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. And it's a song that features everybody in the album: the choir, the strings quartet, obviously our guest of honor Patty Gurdy, and she also sings and plays, and the whole band. Yeah.
But there is more, Noah. There is a song that I like it a lot, very special to me, that is Under, because I think some jazz parts were included. This is the song that makes me feel that Hellscore Choir sings gospel. Tell me how this song was conceived, please.
I think the first draft was written by me as a jazz ballad. Back in the time when we wrote Sands of Time, it was called Time. Very cliche. So I wrote this jazz ballad called Time, and we kind of ditched it back then because we already had all the songs that we needed for Sands of Time. We didn't want to add anything more. We didn't need that song, but we liked it, so we kind of kept it, you know, waiting. And then, you know, when we brainstormed new ideas for Strangers, I said, remember that song, that jazz ballad? Maybe we can do something with it. And then Orr said, maybe it shouldn't be a ballad. Maybe it should be an upbeat song. And then it was the same time that we were listening constantly to the soundtrack of Hamilton, and we were completely in love with Hamilton's music, so we kind of decided to do something inspired by Hamilton. So yep, that's about the song Under.
The other song that blows my mind was Gone, because it demonstrates that the band can use some melodic rock AOR ideas. Am I wrong? Please tell me about this beautiful song. It's really beautiful.
I think that Gone was just inspired by pop music and more modern metal, and it was written about, you know, the fact that people can leave you and then they become strangers, and that's like a very, it can tear your heart apart, and then you are fragile, but you also feel a bit anger towards them and towards the situation, I guess. And you know, I was in both sides, you know, and you know, over the years I found myself both the person who got left and also the person who left. So I kind of took this feeling and put it into a song that is very angry but also very catchy, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's about Gone.
Noah, I'm really sorry. Maybe the questionnaire was exhausting, but I like to talk to you because you are very talented and an intelligent woman. And so I really love the CD and the band. All the musicians are wonderful, but I would like to name Janayat Net because, as you will note, in most of the recording, the bass hardly ever sound, and he did a spectacular work playing the bass. He was not the only one. Joat Weinberg, whose drums were amazing, and of course, the personal guitar concept behind Yadim Moyal, even the keyboard player Itai Portugali, whose work was discreet. Sorry if I don't say the names correctly, sorry, I'm really sorry, but they are extraordinary musicians.
Yeah, it's very important for us to feature all the band members, so everybody is like in the front, everybody has their moments to shine. I think it's a part of what defines the music of Scardust. Yeah.
If there is something else that you would like to Spanish fans and Cuban fans, I would like that the Cuban fans know Scardust more. Please, this is your moment.
Oh God, you know what? Playing in Spain is definitely a dream, and I really hope this pandemic will end soon and we will be able to come and play live for you guys. I visited Spain a few times before. I love your country. I think it's amazing, and I wish you all good health, keep rocking, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for having me here. Cheers from Israel.
Thank you very much for your time, Noa. When I listen to bands like your band, Scardust, I felt that everything is not lost, that we have a good future, and I hope the band will have a good future too. Best wishes, and I hope to hear more new music from Scardust as soon as possible. And to you, the people who is listening this interview, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you consider, I know that you will like Scardust, and I know that you will like Made in Metal. It's me, Tony Gonzalez, and it was Made in Metal. Bye bye.